A very good morning to all of you. Welcome back to your economics class. Today we are going to start with a new topic from Indian Economic Development, Goods and Services Tax, GST. The learning outcomes that we are going to achieve during this class are: learners will be able to understand the meaning of GST and the aims behind its implementation. Learners will be able to describe the features of GST, and you will also be able to analyze the benefits of GST. So all these three outcomes you're going to get once you go through this video. So let's begin our class today. Parliament passed a law known as Goods and Services Tax Act in 2016, and the aim was to simplify and introduce a unified or a common indirect tax system in India. But this law came into effect from 1st July 2017. That is, from 1st July 2017, GST got implemented in your country. It is a comprehensive indirect tax which has replaced many other indirect taxes in India. So it has taken place of many indirect taxes in your country, and now just one tax is being applied, which is GST. So it is a comprehensive, a multi-stage, destination based tax which is levied on every value addition. These are very important key features of GST. It is comprehensive in nature, it is multi-stage, it is destination based tax, and it is levied on every value addition. We are going to take up these features one by one in the coming up slides as well. So GST has been identified as one of the most important tax reforms or changes after, or India has experienced after its independence. So let's take up the aim of GST. Aim of GST was to generate additional revenue, or we can say income, for the government. The second one was to reduce tax evasion. We have already done the meaning of tax evasion, which is theft relating to tax, that is tax ki chori. And the last one was to create one nation, one tax and one market. How one tax? Because we have already talked about that it replaced many taxes, many indirect taxes which were being earlier applied in our country, but now there is only one tax whose application is being considered, that is GST, in place of many other indirect taxes that were earlier being applied. So the basic aim was to create one nation, one tax and one market. So the three aims of GST or implementation of GST are: to generate additional revenue for the government, to reduce tax evasion, and to create one nation, one tax and one market. There are three types of taxes under GST. The first one is CGST, then we have SGST, and the last one is IGST. When we talk about CGST, it stands for Central Goods and Services Tax. Now it is a tax which is levied on intra-state supply of goods and services. So whenever the goods and services are going to be supplied within the state, that is intra-state, and this tax is going to be levied by the center, it is known as Central Goods and Services Tax, that is CGST. Now when we talk about SGST, it stands for State Goods and Services Tax. Now it is a tax which is levied again on intra-state supply of goods and services, that is any tax which is being applied on the supply of goods and services which is taking in between the within the state itself, that is intrastate, including union territories with legislature. So but this tax will be levied by the state. This is the difference between CGST and SGST. Central Goods and Service Tax is levied by the center, whereas SGST is levied by the state, but the supply of goods and services is intrastate in both the cases. Then we talk about IGST, which is Integrated Goods and Service Tax. Now this is a tax which is levied on interstate, that is between two states or many other states. That is, when the goods and services are going to be supplied amongst the states, between the states, then this IGST is going to be levied and it is going to be collected by the center. So IGST is equivalent to sum total of CGST and SGST, and that is why it is termed as integrated goods and service tax, because it is equivalent to total of CGST and SGST. So there are three types of taxes under GST: CGST, SGST and IGST. Then we have certain key features of GST, out of which the first one is regarding the applicability of GST. Where is it applicable? The territorial spread of GST is the whole country, including Jammu and Kashmir. The second point is regarding applicability on supply of goods and services. Now, one thing that you need to understand here is, earlier the taxes were applicable or they were levied on the manufacture or the sale of goods and services, but GST is a tax which is applicable on supply of goods and services. This is the basic difference between the taxes which were earlier being continued in our country, and now we have GST and we have discontinued the previous taxes. So GST is applicable on supply of goods and services, as against the earlier concept of taxes which was on the manufacture or the sale of goods and services or the provision of services. Clear? Moving on to the third feature, that is destination based tax. Now it is a tax which is said to be as destination based. Now there are two principles on which the taxes are based on. The first one is destination based tax and the other one is origin based tax. Origin based tax is a tax which is levied where the goods and services are being produced, because the principle is origin based tax. Origin based tax means where the production is being taking place. So the tax will be levied where the goods are being produced, whereas destination based tax is a tax which is levied where the goods and services are consumed. So this is the difference between destination based tax and origin based tax. GST is a destination based tax, so it is a tax which is moving on the principle of destination based tax, that is where the goods and services are going to be consumed. For example, the exports which are allowed under destination based tax are with zero taxes, that is no taxes are going to be allowed on the exports under destination based tax. And GST is a destination based tax, that is it is based on the principle of destination based tax, which means the tax is levied where the goods and services are consumed. The fourth feature is GST on imports. Now, import of goods and services is treated as interstate supplies and will be subject to GST in addition to some applicable custom duties. Custom duties, we all know the duty which is being applied on the import of goods and services from coming from the foreign countries. So GST will be implied on imports along with the applicability of custom duties in addition to it. Then we have GST rates. CGST, IGST and IGST, they are levied at rates manually agreed upon by the center and state under the GST Council. There are four main slabs. The first one is 5%, then 12%, 18% and 28% for all goods and services. So all the goods and services have been categorized under these four main slab rates: 5%, 12%, 18% and 28%. Exports and supplies to special economic zones are zero rated. Very important thing that needs to be understood. I told you earlier also, because it is destination based tax, so taxes on the exports will be zero rated, whereas imports will be taxed as usual and it will be considered as an interstate supply. Therefore imports will be having a tax as GST, whereas exports they will be zero rated GST. So exports and supplies to special economic zones are zero rated, they are not going to be taxed under GST. Then we have sixth feature as payment of GST. There are various modes of payment of GST available to the taxpayer. It can be through internet banking, debit or credit card. It could be through NEFT, that is National Electronic Fund Transfer, or it can be through RTGS, that is real time gross settlement. Then we have the seventh feature as single comprehensive indirect tax. Now it is one tax which has been replacing 17 other indirect taxes and 23 cesses of state, center and state. So it is a single comprehensive indirect tax on the supply of goods and services right from the manufacturer or the service provider to the consumer. So beginning, that is, it will be beginning from manufacturer or the service provider to the consumer. Only one tax is there, that is GST. Earlier many taxes were there: VAT, service, excise, sales, many types of taxes were being applied, but now only one tax is there, that is GST, and that is why it is termed as single comprehensive indirect tax, beginning from its implication from manufacturer or the service provider to the consumer. Then we have value added taxation. GST is effectively tax on value addition at every stage. So at every stage, whatever value is being added to the product or to the good or to the services, only that part is going to be taxed on GST. So GST is going to be applied only on the value addition to the good. So it is known as value added taxation. The ninth feature is a very important one: amalgamated a large number of center and state taxes, or we can say cesses. And we have already talked about, I told you that GST has replaced 17 indirect taxes, has replaced 23 cesses of center and state, and has eliminated all these taxes, and now just one tax is being applied, that is GST. Let's have a look at some of the major taxes levied by the central government which have now been subsumed in GST. It's central excise duty, service tax, central sales tax, and other cesses like KKC and SPC. You need to learn these examples because these are the examples of the taxes or the central government taxes which has been subsumed in GST. These taxes have been replaced by GST. And we have certain major state taxes and cesses also, like VAT, sales tax, entertainment tax, entry tax, octroi, luxury tax, taxes on entertainment, taxes on lottery, betting, gambling, state cesses on goods. Earlier these state taxes were being implied in our country, but now these have been subsumed in GST. Now only GST is being applied in place of these taxes. Then we have benefits of GST. The important benefits of GST include, the first one is reduction in the overall tax burden, because now many taxes have been subsumed and has been replaced by GST, so it has reduced the overall tax burden. The second is it introduced higher transparency in taxation system. Now everyone knows that it is very transparent in nature now, because GST is being, only one tax is being implied, which has resulted in higher transparency, and it has facilitated the freedom of movement of goods and services and has created a common market in the economy, because the logo of GST was one tax, one nation and one market. So it has created a common market in the economy. It has also reduced the cost of business transactions, because it has reduced the overall tax burden. So ultimately the cost of business transactions or the cost of production has also reduced, and it has also reduced the cascading effect of various taxes on consumers. Now this is a very important point here to understand what is cascading effect. When on every stage taxes are being applied, for example service tax is there, then sales tax is there, excise duty is there, VAT is there, this means tax on the earlier stages as well, that is tax on tax leads to cascading effect. Earlier VAT was applied, and after VAT service tax got applied, so tax is also getting taxed again and again. This leads to cascading effect, which increases the overall burden of tax. But under GST, we talked about that GST is a value addition tax. Only the value which is added to the good is going to be taxed under GST, which means it is going to reduce the cascading effect. Final value is not going to be taxed, it is only the value addition that is going to be taxed. So, even if earlier some tax was being applied and a value was also added to it, only the value addition that has been made to the product or the service or the good will be taxed with GST. The tax which was earlier being applied is not going to have a percentage on it with having a cascading effect. So it has reduced the cascading effect, and it has led to the reduction in the overall burden, and it has reduced the cost of business transactions as well. It has also reduced the overall cost of production. We have already talked about it, in which we'll make our Indian goods and services even more competitive, because now we can compete with cheaper goods as well, which are coming from the foreign countries, and even our goods can reach international market. And it has also resulted in higher economic growth, as GDP is expected to rise by about 2% because of the implementation of GST. And tax compliance, which was a problem earlier, has also been reduced. Now it has become easier, as all tax payments related services like registration, return, payment, they are all available on one online portal, that is one common online portal, that is www.gst.gov.in. So this is one single portal which is catering to many needs of tax compliance. So all these benefits of GST has been enjoyed in our country. So in today's class we did the meaning of GST, we did the common features of GST, we learnt about the aims of GST, the three types of taxes under GST, all taxes which has been subsumed under GST, whether they were state related or they were center related, which were earlier being applied in our country but now it has been replaced by GST. And also finally we did the benefits of GST, and also very importantly the key features under GST and its benefits. They both were very important. So that's it for today's class. Thank you.